Hi, my name is Sin, and I've been a software engineer for over 30 years. In this video, I want to walk you through creating a prototype for a fictitious ride-sharing application. The goal of the video is just to show you how easy it is to bring ideas to life using OpenClaw. We will be using a freshly installed instance of OpenClaw. Once set up, we'll give OpenClaw a mission, a task it can do on its own autonomously. When you prompt OpenClaw your ideas, don't worry about typing in grammatically correct sentences. OpenClaw can infer the meaning from your words. Obviously, the more specific you are, the more thought you have given to your prompt in advance, the better the outcome would be. Notice that in my prompt, I did not tell OpenClaw what technology, programming language, or frameworks to use. I mean, I could have if I wanted to, but I wanted OpenClaw to go out on its own, do its own research, decide for itself, and put together a prototype as quickly as possible. I wanted to focus more on what the mobile app will do, and not the technology that will be used to build it. Unlike a human being who can implicitly understand certain things, when using an agentic AI system like OpenClaw, the more details you provide, the better. As I type my business requirements below, I am in fact performing an action known as agentic engineering. True story. A friend of mine from the US wanted to engage me in a ride-sharing business venture. He said he needed a programmer to work on the mobile app. I told him he didn't need me, not anymore. I told him to download OpenClaw and pay the $20 ChatGPT monthly subscription, and he can build and finish his dream mobile app within 24 hours. No programmers needed. I made this video just so we can have a starting point to show him how easy it is to use agentic AIs like OpenClaw to generate mobile apps. And off OpenClaw goes. It will now do some research to determine which technology stack to use based on my requirements. What separates agentic AIs like OpenClaw from plain old AIs like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini is that it can autonomously perform long-running tasks on your behalf. You don't even need to be in front of the computer for OpenClaw to give you updates. If you use Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, Slack, Google Chat, and many more options, OpenClaw can send you updates. And best of all, using those same communication channels, you can issue commands to OpenClaw so you can communicate with OpenClaw bidirectionally. Unlike your old-school AIs that are stuck in a chat box that tells you what to do when you ask it technical questions, OpenClaw has a mind, OpenAI, and a body, your computer. It can do things on its own, and it can communicate on its own too. So in about 5 minutes, OpenClaw did its own research. It decided what frameworks and libraries to use, wrote the code, compiled the code, fixed errors, and then launched the newly created mobile app. Granted, this will be in a pretty rough state as this is the first iteration, and the prompt I gave OpenClaw, I just made up on the fly. So right away, I noticed it didn't have pictures of motorcycles. Instead, it has pictures of landscapes. But the elements of the concepts are there. The pricing, the rating system, how long it takes for the driver to arrive, a drill down so you can see some details about the driver, and a simple booking screen. A booking confirmation screen is there, and an ability to submit a rating of the driver. So, not bad for a few minutes of work, and with zero planning. I noticed I couldn't scroll down vertically, so we will fix that in just a second. OpenClaw is providing a very detailed status report of what it built in the same way a project manager would report to stakeholders and business owners. It even provided instructions at the very end on how to run the prototype it created and suggestions of possible things we could do next. I then proceeded to review the status report OpenClaw provided. It pretty much followed the requirements as I wrote them. so not bad for attempt number 1. Again, this is pretty amazing for 5 minutes worth of development, and with zero coding on my part. So the technology OpenClaw picked are Expo, React Native, TypeScript, which are a popular choice for cross-platform mobile development. It reported where it got the images from, and that it installed dependencies and verified that the project compiles and run. I then decided I wanted to physically inspect the folder and the files it generated, just so I know where they live and how to start the project manually again. I noticed a bug in that I couldn't vertically scroll to see more drivers. With my inspection of the app complete, it's now time to report my findings to OpenClaw. So for iteration number 2, I told OpenClaw to 1. Change the picture so it shows motorcycles. 2. Fix the vertical scrolling issue. Notice that it responds with a sense of humor, saying where it got the images from is garbage. So OpenClaw is off fixing bugs on its own code, happily and with a sense of humor and duty. That's the advantage of an agentic AI. It does the work for you. You simply provide the requirements and inspect the work. In 2026, if you are not vibe coding or using an AI assistant and you are still relying on Google, Stack Overflow, Reddit to get your work done, then your productivity level is far below when compared to those who are using AI. So OpenClaw reports that iteration number 2 is done. I decided I would launch the mobile app manually. Port 8081 was already being used by the previous iteration, so to play it safe, I decided to use the next available port number. And 13 minutes since the recording of this video started, we have our second iteration already. The thumbnails have improved a little. It is now at least showing motorcycles instead of landscapes. This is what I meant earlier when I said there are instructions we give to other human beings, and they can implicitly understand what you mean. AIs are not like that. I should have been more explicit and asked for motorcycles on the road, the kind that you would hail for a ride. So next, I decided to fix more bugs in the code. I noticed the price for each ride was a little too high. Of course, that was my fault because I did not specify a price range in my original prompt. Next, I asked OpenClaw to update the thumbnail picture of each driver and make the driver's picture clickable so we can see more details about the driver, a driver's profile screen. I'll speed up the video so you don't have to watch me type. And off my faithful coding assistant go! By now, I hope you're starting to see how having an AI assistant while coding is a tremendous time saver. You'll want to use OpenClaw with ChatGPT and use Codex plus OAuth so you incur no additional costs beyond your $20 ChatGPT monthly subscription. Be warned, with an API key from Claude or Gemini, you may end up spending hundreds of dollars. It looks like OpenClaw is done and it's just wrapping things up. Again, it provided instructions on how to run the project, so I will run it on a separate console window. I'll just choose a new port number to use. You'll want to stick to the same port number in a real development scenario. So here is iteration number 3. I can see that it fixed the vertical scrolling, so we can see more drivers now. The picture it has for the driver's profile looks really good. And sure enough, when we click it, we see a driver's profile screen. Again, I hope you are beginning to see the power of agentic AIs and having one as a coding AI assistant. I think that about wraps it up for this video. I wanted to keep this video about 10 minutes long. A video like this takes hours to produce. If this type of video interests you, or you want to see more AI-related videos, smash that like button and follow or subscribe. Again, my name is Sin, and it has been a pleasure. And before we part ways, I just want to remind you to do what you love and love what you do every day.